Hey everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Bloodline, Heroes of Lithas. For today's video, we're gonna have a special guest join us for a super endgame showcase. It's really cool to see the potential of some of these accounts. Alright, so this is going to be a fun video. There are going to be chapters for the different sections we talk about in the description, so you could reference those if you want to skip around. But yeah, this is the third video of a 3-part series I did checking out Bloodline again after being away for a while, and I have to say they've done an amazing job adding new features, and honestly, it's a really great game that I highly recommend. A really fun champion collector style mobile game, fantasy RPG, great graphics, lots of different battle modes, and well, we're going to show some of that today. But if you haven't already checked out Bloodline yet, be sure to use the link in the description or the pinned comment, or if you're on a PC, you can scan that QR code on the screen. There is even a starter pack worth $20 that you'll get for free when using my link. Alright, and now we are joined by Ghost Wolf of District 53. Welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Yeah, great to be here. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
What is with this strangely sexy lizard? I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, that's probably the coolest thing about this game. I mean, as we sit here and look through some of the different outfits that are available in my mirror icon, yeah, we're sex sells. That's
I mean,
that's the idea
that's
here.
it's one of my favorite parts, not gonna lie. One of my favorite things is all the sexy companion waifus and being able to choose male or female. I'm like, oh, okay, she's hot. Oh, wait, he's hotter. All right. Superficial, but it's fun. It's fun, right? Look at this. This is fun.
Yes, it definitely is providing some different aspects to the game. I mean, now you got to collect them all. I mean, I have to collect them all. I can't stop at just one.
Oh, are you very much about that? Like, you try to make sure you place anytime there's a new thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. Collector for all the heroes as well? Are you a big collector where you gotta catch them all Pokemon style?
Absolutely, I've got them all. There's not a single one I
Okay.
don't have, including
Oh
the
my
newest
gosh.
Bloodcraft at the bottom,
That's
right
this
below our
one.
wish
Oh my
list.
goodness, she's gorgeous. Let me play that little. Alright, I guess I'll just let that go. Oh, that's really stunning. Very pretty graphics. I love their style, honestly.
It's one of the best out there.
Alright, so she's one of the newest additions. Tell me about her. What do you like about her? What do you not like about her?
So this Bloodcraft is a mix between the base, which is the female Ho, mixed in with the male Zace. So one of the biggest factors about this specific Bloodcraft is she originally female Ho is a healer that uses her abilities to kind of block our enemies. This Bloodcraft goes against all odds. She's not using any healing aspects for team or using really any actual prevention aspects. She's actually an attacker. She teleports behind your enemy and just brutally beats them up with tons of damage.
Interesting.
We've actually got probably a couple of arena fights that are pre-recorded
Okay.
of this specific Bloodcraft going out there and giving it her all.
Oh, fun. Alright. How's her trait? Is it good? How's the traits work with that? With the Bloodcraft? I don't.
With her running, so all Bloodcrafts will support a level 22 trait of the actual champion that they are merged between. So she's
Okay.
got the trait for Ho, which allows her to be able to have all of that backline support, 20% extra strength for the first 10 seconds of the fight. And then she also has Inventive, which is the Zace trait. The Zace trait is a little bit interesting because when the skills are released, there's a 50% chance to gain a shield. So every time your opponent releases an actual skill, active or special, then you have the chance of generating a shield that gives you some damage mitigation against your targets.
Cool. Alright, so you've collected them all. So how long have you been playing? How old is this crazy, well-stacked account?
We're probably looking at well over a year. I've been playing since August of
Nice.
2023.
Oh my goodness, you really do have them all. And maxed pretty darn well too. Okay.
I know
So
there's some accounts out there that have more, but it's one of the things when you have limited time to be able to enjoy the game specifically.
love it. I love their art. I think it's so fun. Okay. So, I guess obviously Bloodcraft is pretty special, but what about non-Bloodcraft? Do you have any favorites as far as heroes that you just ever since they came out you're using them and you'll never stop using them, you feel like?
I think my favorite character that I have, and a lot of people just give me the side eye when I say this, is actually the female Ho up there in the top left corner.
Oh,
She's my favorite champion, but hilariously enough, she's actually my strongest champion with over
okay.
22 million strength. I say that, and a lot of people always give me the look. They're like, "But she's a healer. She doesn't do a lot of damage." And I'm like, "But you see, when you give her that much strength, she's doing more than just healing."
That's fun. Yeah, like, it's crazy gear too. I love it. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, you really do have everything. All right. I played Bloodline for a while ago, like I don't know, 8 months ago. So Ho was actually the last one that was new for me before I came back to check out the game again. So I had not had experience with actually playing them yet. So
Oh,
maybe someday.
it's a beautiful coincidence in this case.
So a lot has changed since I was playing, and I think the biggest one is Sprites. And they just
Yes.
released a new one, right? So what's the deal here? What do you like the Sprite system? What do you think about it?
So sprites are very interesting. When they first arrived, a lot of us in the community can agree that these were the most expensive add-ons in the game for the player community. They had an extreme cost. Each sprite, generally alone to get to 15 star, was probably a little over $3,000 to $4,000 a sprite. To
So they
give
level up in the same manner as the heroes.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
as you continue using, there's a new item that was introduced to the summoning area in the game, which is called Sprite Eggs. With
Oh
the
yeah.
eggs, you can spend those for a chance to spin and get epic shards specifically to acquire the sprites. Now,
Okay.
once in a sense you acquire those shards, you can use them to level up your sprites' stars. Once they're leveled up via stars, the next thing you can do is physically level up the sprite's level, and that'll be through feeding it special items that you've got during events, purchased from shops, or of course acquired through just the summoning points.
Cool. Yeah, I've had a lot of comments, and even early on, just in the discords or in my video, being like, "Oh, you came at a great time. There's sprites are really cool. They just released a new one." I'm like, but unfortunately, new accounts can't play them right away. Even my server that's 1 month old says like 70 plus days before the sprite feature is activated. So I haven't been able to experience them firsthand.
Absolutely. So one of the things about sprites is if you're able to acquire them and you're able to level them up quickly, each one of these sprites theoretically is taking one of your champions that may have no vigor. And if you max star and max level this sprite, it's like giving that champion 120 vigor. Each sprite
Wow.
is capable
Okay.
of doing that.
And yeah, you have all the ones that are out so far, right?
That is right.
Okay.
So the newest one is the one at the bottom, which is a little bit different of a sprite with its ability. It, in a sense, pauses the first 10 seconds of the fight from really exploding and taking effect. So, of course, with the actual blessings at the bottom, these are just common blessings. The actual
Yeah.
sprites that I have gone all the way from common all the way up to mythic level blessings. Mythic level blessings can add a huge percentage point bonus against a comparison of your actual team. You're talking about almost 20%
Yeah,
to
that's a lot of strength. Like,
yeah, and you can have that strength stacked on all three sprites, so you can grand total
okay.
out
Wow.
quite a bit.
All right. That seems really cool. It's totally different. So how are they used in battle? Are they just like you attach a sprite to your roster and
That's
then
correct.
or yeah.
So in the Sprite Haven, you can select up to 3 sprites specifically to lead into charge. I've
Oh,
got
that's
my
what's here.
strongest
Okay.
3. Yep. You can swap them between, and of course, the stat changes based upon your level of sprite. You'll notice that in occasion, you'll see your unit's actual attacks change. Now, one thing to keep in mind is with the sprites, the blessings do not immediately calculate into your champion's bonuses, like strength and such. Only the
Okay.
base stats of the sprites are calculated into your champion lineup.
All right, let's see them in action. Arena. Okay, yeah, you can see which ones are activated up at the top. Okay.
Yep, and as they activate their abilities, they'll highlight up, and of course,
Okay.
each one has a special ability that activates during a specific time of the fight.
And arena's so quick, it's like the
It, it,
replays are hard. Yeah.
in some cases, that's exactly it. For most of my guild mates, the challenge is to see how many seconds you can survive against my strongest team. If you can survive more than 5 seconds, you've beat the average. That's the
So
goal.
how is the arena meta? Is there a big stall tactic in this game now or not really
I'd
for
say
defense?
honestly, for a lot of the stronger players, a stall tactic is possible. However, with the new champions that are introduced, it's almost near impossible to truly stall out a fight. And the reason why is
Interesting.
because we have champions like Soulkeeper. Unfortunately, if you can't keep Soulkeeper's energy completely zeroed and he does cast his ultimate, then he will quickly wipe out an entire team on his own.
Honestly, that's a breath of fresh air. I play so many games where arena is like the most annoying part of the game. It takes too long. People just do the annoying stall defenses that take you timing out, so you lose because you time out, not because they won. Like that's not fun, and that doesn't feel fair. Like a real matchup where you're just smashing and who can smash harder. I love that. That's way more engaging.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things that a lot of the community had a concern about, that
Yeah.
Bloodlines developers went in and changed. Originally, for all 3 of those sprites, we had 3 mythic damage reduction abilities that stacked.
Oh, it would have
Or
slowed down. Yeah.
75% damage reduction on top of
Oh
our Guardian
God.
Stone and on top of the
Yeah.
actual abilities. In total, when we calculated it, it was a 95% damage reduction across the board. So you were only
Okay.
doing 5% damage.
So on the sprite topic, what is there like the best sprite in the game at the moment? Is there like there one that's considered everyone tries to max a certain one first? What's your opinion on that?
I'd say the awakened horse, the awakened unicorn at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then, of course, the awakened fox at the bottom. So
Oh,
the awakened
um
horse is generally one of the best ones, which is it's really a
this one?
unicorn, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Okay.
So Hipperin, the awakened spirit of Hipperin is one of the strongest ones that are currently in the game. And then the second strongest, I'd have to say, is going to be the awakened Olopex at the bottom, which is the purple fox. So
Yeah,
that's both of those are run in
okay.
combination. Since the new sprite came out, a lot of teams are kind of determining if they want to keep the bear or if they want to swap over to the new one. And that's just because the bear, his ability activates for a short window of time compared to the newest one, where even though his ability activates for a short window at time, it's so much effect that it makes it hard to not want to put him in.
Okay. Now, what about the heroes? What do you think trait-wise? There a lot of traits have been added since I've been playing. What are the strongest traits? Who are people trying to like, or I should say, which traits are people trying to swap onto their best characters these days?
So I'd say one of the strongest traits that I see showing up time and time again in most of my matches, the Soul Keeper in the top right there, his main clan trait that he possesses is generally probably one of the ones that we're going to see the most, and that is Dark Corrosion. So when Dark Corrosion is used, there's a 50% chance to reduce the damage dealt by an enemy for a limited amount of time. When you're able
Hmm.
to reduce the damage intake that you're going to receive, it does help give you that extra 5, 6 seconds to possibly get a chance to do that additional damage in return. So you can, in a sense, have
Nice.
the ability to step up and quickly eliminate the enemy. But there's still the effect of depending on how big that target is. They may not be dealing a lot of damage and might be dealing more of a dot effect, which is one of the newest things that was introduced. So
Okay.
outside of that, I mean, this champion probably has some of the 3 most commonly used traits already attached to him, being
Yeah.
Dark Corrosion, his main, Steadfast being the
Yep.
Gold Tongue clan trait, and
Mhm.
then our favorite, which is the Tide Storm one, which is aggressive,
Okay.
commonly,
Yeah.
commonly used.
Yeah, there's some new ones. I know there were some changes since I last played. I think Um, I mean, it's still, I'm assuming the advice is the same. When you're gonna summon, you gotta really commit to the summon and make sure you're getting the companions if the trait's good, so you could actually, yeah, have them and take advantage of it, or else why are you even summoning in the first place?
Yep, since I'm an outfit collector, of course, I have all the
Gotta have
companions
all
that
the,
I've
yeah.
collected, and that's
I
kind
mean,
of
it
the
makes
reality of it.
sense because if you're gonna spend that many resources to try to get heroes and have enough copies to have some potential to max them out or close to it. then you might as well get the clan trait option too,
Yep.
because you never know. They could change them, they could buff them, they could nerf things. You don't know how they're gonna change. Have they done that too much with clan traits? Have they been adjusted, or have they been pretty consistent?
Most of the clan traits have been relatively consistent. We've
That's
only seen
good.
very minor tweaks. We see more tweaks to the actual champion functionality. Maybe it's skills and how they function. We're not seeing too many adjustments towards the overall clan trait. So the only last time we saw a clan trait adjustment was probably a couple months back. They changed a lot of the main clan traits to being 10-second counters. So that means that they last 10 seconds and then they stop working.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
that's definitely the most interesting aspect. There are some traits
Yeah.
out there that are not 10-second traits. They go on
Okay.
for the length of the actual match. That being agile and other skills like the goat, which is also known as the stone thrower. That clan has a trait called rapid shot. That trait alone can increase the entire speed of your entire team.
I guess I should look at the companions. We're talking about traits as well. Oops, gotta collect
Ah,
some
feel free to collect.
stuff.
Not like they're going anywhere.
Yeah.
That'll
There's
bring up
so
another good
many
point to
now.
Yeah, there's so many different options. Of course, I've got all of them because
Yeah.
once you got one, yeah, I mean, you got to collect them all. It's just you're invested at that point. It's too late.
That's great. So many. Okay. Yeah, there's so many new additions. Of course, is the advice, do you think, still the same for a new player to go in, take your lovely Travaine companion to Mythic first because she's 1-star, easy to take to Mythic, and then you'll have a high-level agile trait to move around? Is that still good advice?
Absolutely.
Am I giving good advice? Okay, good.
Absolutely. The 1-star companions are the ones you want to increase. Travaine being the first one. Then, of course, you can then switch over to the Griffin.
Where is he? Yep, Griffin. Yep.
And then after the Griffin, you can always switch then over to the Sally Horn, which is the other 1-star group. So
Oh, there's
it's
another 1-star. Oh, I forgot. You're right. I think that's actually what I was working on when I last played. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the three companions you'll want to take to Mythic as quickly as possible because when doing vigor transferring, those are the main ones you're going to be functioning on. Yes, the
Yeah.
2-star is helpful, but the 1-stars, they're the cheapest, they're the lowest cost per actual pots to use to raise up the actual hairs. Totally more worth it to go
And a
through
lot
that route.
easier to get that level 22 traits instead of just
And of course,
messing around me.
you've probably noticed there's 2 additional resources at the top of this screen. That's the
Yeah,
other
this
thing
is
that
all
has
new
been
with Celestial Bonds. So how is this system? What do you think of it?
So Celestial Bonds, same thing as the Sprites. If you get this to max level, which was 1,000, you theoretically add another 120 vigor to every single unit.
That's crazy.
So you can see here just alone, base at the top, you're looking at 15 million Constitution. That's not just added on one champion. That's every champion you own, and almost
Yeah, this is
7.
good.
Yeah, it just
Crazy.
again it just like, explodes out of the top with additional capability and damage reduction was included in this. So you have
Okay.
another aspect of continual damage reduction.
Oh, I like that. All right. Yeah, I love this sort of thing. Most games have some sort of a system like this that's overall account stat boost for every character on your account. So I'm glad they added that. That makes sense.
Yeah, now of course we ask them when they're going to expand it, if they're going to increase the size. We've got
Oh
resources
no.
that are just hanging out, and
You
we're
got,
definitely
because
getting.
if you max it, then you have just extra resources and nothing to do with
Yep.
them. Oh
Yep,
gosh.
you're just sitting there collecting, you're sending messages like, "Hey, like, when's the next update? Are we gonna go further? Like, what's happening?" And, you also think about it from the perspective of newer accounts that are maybe getting into the game. They're barely getting to level 300 in Constellations, and they match up against somebody like me.
So another new addition to the game that we actually get a chance to showcase, speaking of matching up against others, Luxis Tournament. Can we roll into that now?
Absolutely. Luxus
Okay,
Tournament
let's
is
go.
one of the newest things that has been introduced. Now, the thing about the Luxus Tournament is this is what I call the Coliseum effect. You're getting to battle it out with some of the largest players in the game. And then as we near the end, bet on the player you think is ultimately going to take home the
Yep.
crown. So in the first fight, you have a lot of different accounts that are playing. They're fighting in the qualifier to attempt to achieve the highest specific ranking. So if you end up in the top 64, you get a beautiful invitation, which we call to the seeded group. If you make it into the seeded group, you are guaranteed to be fighting near the end.
Fun. I love it.
And of course, the rewards are also just as good. Can't go wrong with the rewards.
Yeah. So like every stage has its own different set of rewards, or I guess
That is correct.
yeah.
And then once we get to the finals, then that's the point where we'll actually be able to start seeing just a beautifully large amount of rewards. Now, of course, the
Ooh.
top 64 is already guaranteed, specifically in this case. So I'm
Yeah.
guaranteed to at least get that top reward as we move into it.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Final stage tickets and then all the fancy stuff. Okay.
Yep. And of course, with this
Nice.
specific event, we have three new items that were introduced, which is the tournament medals. You have bronze, silver, and then gold. And with this, they also introduced a new outfit and even a new avatar system.
Okay. Cool. Lots of options. All right. So how can we let's see some fights in action somehow. Where should we go for that?
Let's go to the qualifying stage there in the bottom
Okay.
left. And let's just pick one of these fights. I mean, I think you can pick any of them at random here. I think they're all
Okay.
pretty reasonable. And
Defeat.
just yep. Reality is, you're fighting it out with 3 different teams. You can't have any duplicate champions. So,
Okay.
you're looking at an aspect where you're gonna win some and you're gonna lose some, but the ultimate goal here is you're trying to win all 3 fights. If you win all 3 fights, you'll get the most amount of points and continue to climb the leaderboard. But in the qualifying stage, you fight somebody every 20 minutes, and you do that for a couple days.
Oh.
So you'll come back and
Yeah.
you'll be 100 fights in. You maybe went to bed, you'll come back, you'll wake up, and
Okay.
every hour you had fought three people in a sense.
So this is like a 3v3 arena type setup, I guess we'd call it, compared to other games. Um,
Absolutely.
which it's the difference in this game is like we could see, it's fast. You're not sitting here for like 5 minutes waiting for a battle. You're not manually doing things for 10 minutes where every single battle feels like a lifetime. So I think in a lot of games we hate 3v3 as a game mode for arena because it's so obnoxiously time consuming. But it's not that bad here, so maybe I would have a different opinion.
Yeah, that's 100% exactly where we kind of sit out, specifically with this
Yeah.
game mode. Now, of course, there's a lot of tactical building that has to acquire that you need to kind of be able to test and determine how to beat some of the larger players. Because as you climb to the top of the leaderboard, you might no longer be fighting somebody that was maybe previously a little bit easier to get a win across. You're now fighting some of the accounts up there that are in top 10 and are some of the strongest in the game.
Okay. Yeah, here's what you're talking about with the exclusive like stuff you can buy with the gold medals.
That's right, and they're
Yeah.
time related, so you can only keep them for 14 days, just like winning
Oh
some of
yeah,
the
okay.
server
That
events.
power stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so it does come down to whether or not, someone's, hardcore interested in it. Obviously, the only one that made the most sense to us was to pick up the new face, avatar for piece in a sense, 'cause, it gives
Yeah.
bonuses like all the masks do.
Okay. That's
Now,
true.
one thing that's interesting is every single Luxus tournament, that shining metal over there to the left of the band champions in the middle, that is the special effect. The previous one we had, you could not activate ultimate skills. They were completely disabled, which this adds a little bit more complexity. You no longer can activate that, so you have to build a team with that in function. Water and Sun, which is the most used champion in the game by every single team, can no longer heal and do damage. He's at that point
Oh,
just another champion. So a lot of people,
interesting. I
it's
like
on their
that.
main team, and it
No,
it, it just
it's good. It's good. It forces you to do different things and not just let the same one always win.
exactly. So it just adds this more complexity effect. On top of that, this new one, corrosive boost, champions become immune to control effects. Like, wow,
Yeah, that's really cool.
there's so many things that you can't do now. It's like, okay, these champions are no longer as good as they were previously. I'm not stunning anybody like I was previously. Uh-oh.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like that. All right. So that is there. And this is only a temporary period. So there's going to be a ranking phase. How long in between the Luxus tournaments do you have to wait before there's another one?
So previously, it looks like they had us wait anywhere upwards about 5 to 10 days. We went through an
Oh,
entire
okay.
week of new content before they
That's good.
introduced the next
Yeah, to
one.
have a little break from that sort of thing.
Hopefully
Okay.
they'll kind of keep that. I think it's the biggest ask a lot of players have asked because we're all generally burned out pretty hard in Guild Conquest. Guild Conquest is
Yeah.
you know, they're taking 2 really long 48 hours and you're fighting it out as much as you can. Then you get 24 hours and then you do it again.
Yeah, it's true. I remember there being a lot of new PvP type stuff like the Sales and Sabers and all that was added when I started. And for me personally, I'm not as into like the Valley of Conqueror style and yeah, I wasn't loving the guild stuff honestly, but that was a me thing. Like most people love the way that the different types of PvP in this game work. And I think that's actually a really strong selling point is there's a variety of PvP. It's not just this basic arena and oh, they just did a copy of 3v3 Arena. Who cares? Not that exciting for some people. But the actual Guild Wars is totally different than most games. So
No,
I like the
absolutely.
variety.
And of course, one of the new things they introduced is a lot of us kind of said, "Hey, like Sales and Sabers is great, but there's not a lot of time. You play it, and then at some point, you just, in a sense, mentally retire from it." Now,
Yeah.
of course, Valley of Conquerors, if depending on where your total power is, you will end up in quite a few different options. In this case, because my total power is up there with some of the highest in the game currently, I am in the top Valley of Conquerors. This means that I am fighting
It's a
everybody that
hard
is.
group. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can enter situations in a sense where you're fighting somebody that's a duplicate of you, and it's a flip of a coin. You may
Okay.
not.
I was like, I'm surprised to click this and see you guys at the bottom. That doesn't sound like you. Or maybe
Generally
just
not.
haven't done a lot yet.
I'm probably in the same scenario you'd be in when it comes to some of the guild content. Valley of Conquerors for me, it's just another game mode that takes just as much time as Guild Conquest. So it's like you kind of have to weigh between what you want to do. You can go do
Okay.
Valley of Conquer and spend a lot of time there, or you do Guild Conquest and you'll spend a lot of time there. It's something where in a sense being able to do all of it is just near impossible. But of course in Guild
Okay.
Conquest, we're able to participate a little bit more and be able to fight it out to a new level or a new degree.
Yeah.
Yep, the
Cool.
person in first, I believe, is the wonderful guild of Toothless. This is one of the other strongest players in the game out there. And of course,
Okay.
he's having a great time. He's enjoying all aspects of the game. And of course, we have to test his teams out, so we get to fight him quite a bit.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I do like that it's different. Like it's a personal thing that it's not always my favorite aspect of a game, but I think so many players that are looking for good guild alliance type experiences where you really do engage and have to do things to help your team. It's so much more than just fighting a random boss. Like the basic raids, it does have that too, of course. There's the basic guild system where you just do your little daily raid battles, but some games are only that, and then you're just like, what else? But this actually has a ton of variety, so they do
Oh
a good
yeah.
job with that.
They've definitely added more. Hopefully, maybe at some time in the future, we might be able to see the campaign be revitalized.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
know a lot of people said, "Hey, I reached the end. Where do I go now?" And it's like, well, that's about it. We'll have
Yeah.
to we'll have to see if they ever expand it. A lot of us are asking for a hardcore mode, so that way we can really test some combinations.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the campaign really goes too much further because I feel like I already have all those rewards.
Yep, and that's kind of that reality as well. But of
Yeah,
course,
you can
once a lot
finish
of
it
our
fairly early.
yeah, we started a couple new accounts on the server, and they actually got through very quickly. Starting
Okay.
from the guild buffs, having access to all of the content currently available in the server,
Oh,
you can
true.
you can catch up actually relatively quickly.
That was the advice I had got when I started playing from Belligerent was like join with your friends even if it's not a new server. Don't be too hung up on the new server thing because if you play actively, there's easy ways to catch up. But I'm so in the mindset of like I have to start on day one of a server so I can have a chance to be the best, but it's not
Oh yeah,
necessarily needed.
that's the
Yeah.
reality even for me. This our server had merged into X53, which is this server, and yeah, we were not the best. We were, I think, maybe sixth and seventh between me and Shanks when we merged in, and yeah, now we've overcome odds. Shanks has taken first away from everybody. That's his job. If we take first from him tomorrow, we will log back in, and he will put a beautiful gap between us.
So like, yeah, I guess you have a lot when you have the server events, you guys, it's all your own alliance competing against each other.
Yep. So if I'm on holiday and I'm not paying attention, I'll check back in and I'll get some messages. I beat you in the contest. Like what happened? Like were you not playing today? Like are you away? Like what's up? And I'm
That's
like, "Yep,
fun.
that's a reality."
Yeah, I feel like the server system's a little strange because like it's you have to have alliance only within one server. So at least the events are cross server as far as guild versus guild type stuff, or not
Most
all
of the
of
time,
them.
so yeah, for Valley of Conquer, of course, that's just players across the entire game.
Yeah.
For GC, that's 3 guilds all versus each other. And then for all the server side events, those are actually only server side. So we're only seeing those events for anybody in this server.
Okay.
And then there is one more section. Originally, when you may have played, there was the server wide event, or you'd
That's
be
yeah,
fighting
or
against
yeah,
multiple servers.
the cross
They
server events. Yeah.
Exactly. They still
Yeah.
have those, but they moved them. They're no longer where you can naturally see them in challenges anymore.
Oh yeah, they used to
Now,
be here.
yep, they took them now and they moved them over into the Sales and Saber section. So when you go down
Oh,
to Sales and
okay.
Saber, there's just another leaderboard specifically there.
Oh wow. All right. Cool.
Yeah, and that's in the
Yeah,
bottom
lots
right,
of
the
changes.
Conquest of
Oh yeah, I could
Sakkad.
do that. This thing right here. Yep. Okay.
And then there's that season leaderboard. That's where they moved them
Oh,
all to.
I didn't even click that once while I started checking it out again because I was like, where are the? Oh, there must just not be any cross server events right now.
Yep. They just decided to take all of them and move
Move
them
them.
to a
Oh, I
completely
wish
different
I
section.
knew I could. Intimacy event. I was ready. I was waiting.
So I think that's the other fun part too, and also one of the hard parts. The cross server events generally do not line up with the server events for all servers.
Oh, so you're
So
like you do. Yeah, that was the case even a long time ago.
yeah, you'll burn resources in an odd manner, and you'll be like,
And then
ah,
you'll
the
get it
server
on
side
your
event.
own. Yep.
You'll be like, oh, I'm in third, and I can't get to first and second because I kind of spent all my resources.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I like the variety. I like that they have. I mean, it's pretty much a rotation of events too. Like you can get used to the pattern, right? Is it still the
Absolutely.
case? Yeah. So
So
you
there's
can
still
prep.
Yeah, you can prepare ahead of time. A lot of people for the Might Challenge, or generally they'll stack
Yeah.
up for a couple weeks and they'll be prepared for it so that way they can try to take a grab at first place.
And you gotta hope that the time, or is it always the case, when a new like faction comes out and that's time to summon, there's also a might event at the same time, hopefully.
Sometimes, yeah, there's a Might event. The other thing that will appear during that same time is a Charm or Intimacy event.
Oh yeah.
Huge timing every time that comes out because
That's true, because if you
generally,
get the companion, yeah.
yep. And of course, if you get the companion, there's usually another special event that's also tied to it that you'll want to participate in so that you can acquire the charm. And then you can also purchase generally, I think it's like the corns event or something of that. And you can purchase it and you can acquire some extra materials to help you out.
Okay.
Actually, I think it is on here. It's
Yeah.
Quarters Path. It's the
Yeah.
name of it.
Oh.
And based on the intimacy and charm of that new companion, you can
You can
then
get
acquire extra
more.
materials.
Oh wow, there's so many things that I haven't seen yet that even when I started I couldn't access it because like I hadn't unlocked certain
Right.
things.
Bigger transfusion
Nice.
items give you the
Yeah.
ability now to transfer vigor between your units. Definitely a game changer, but it takes quite a bit of them if you're moving a 120.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, this has been a really good look at some of the stuff that I couldn't showcase from my account, even though my one I moved to, even my old account didn't have some of it. But I kind of transitioned on like a 1 month old server to check things out, but can see what the end game people are able to play with at least. Oh my goodness, so much, but not overwhelming. I've always felt like this is a great mobile side game. Like you can grind all day if you want to, or you can just log in, do some basics, and chill. I feel like it's got a good balance. Do you agree?
I would agree. There's definitely a lot of aspects that the game has, but there's also a lot of it that's meant to jump in, participate, and then jump out. There's only a couple events that are actually jump in, stay in, work hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think it's a great mobile game. All right, well, I think I should probably wrap up and say thank you so much for letting me check out your account and to give us all of your endgame knowledge and insight. It's definitely I definitely think they're doing a good job with their improvements and added content overall. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're adding new stuff all the time. I'd see every month we're seeing 1 or 2 new champions, and
Yeah.
they add a lot more complexity than you can imagine. So
Good.
it's definitely it makes you take out a piece of paper and a pen and start trying to determine how you might be able to make it work best for your team.
Awesome. Well, so you're not a content creator, right? You just or are
Well,
you? Are you
technically I
debating?
am a content creator. We've been kind of on the fence. We're still getting my
Oh.
camera set up and my mic set up completely done, but
Okay.
we're
Oh,
we're
soon.
fit we're 50% there. So hopefully in the
All
next
right.
month we'll be done. Of course, moved into a new house. So I got
Oh.
a lot of things on my plate and a lot of things demanding attention.
Are you going to be Twitch, YouTube? What's the plan?
I think right now we're actually going to probably go towards the YouTube route. I play a lot of games
Okay.
where Twitch is probably the main streaming platform
But this
that
is probably better
everybody's
for
using.
YouTube versus streaming anyway.
Yeah, for Twitch in a sense, it's more people are wanting me to, hey, like the event just came out, go live, like
That's
let's
true.
check
You
it
can do that
out. And
on
it's like,
YouTube as well, though. YouTube Live. So either way, you're good.
right. And that's why I've kind of decided YouTube's probably gonna be the best
Yeah.
route.
Cool. All right. Well, you do have a channel yet or not yet?
We've kind of got a channel. I think me and Rom
Okay.
have built one for just our District 53 content, but of
Okay.
course, definitely
That's
18
true.
or 18 plus rating on that one. We're not exactly always being nice on
Okay, you
on,
have
on
been
those things.
warned. I love that. I was involved in some of that. That was funny stuff. But I will link that. I will link that in the description, guys, so you could check them out. And of course, if you have any other um additional links, let me know. I'll place them in the description. But thank you, Ghost Wolf, for joining me today. Really appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the content you make. This is amazing content for all the players out there that are joining into the game or just now kind of walking back in after a long return and trying to figure out what are all this new things that are just generated all over the map. What do I do? Where do I start?
Yeah, and hopefully it catches some new players' eyes to just see the variety that the game offers too. And it's all right. Well, good luck on your journey, Ghost Wolf, with content creation. I wish you luck. It's fun, and you have a wealth of knowledge. So I'm really glad that you're gonna share it with people.
I appreciate it. Thank you for all your time.
Thanks. All right, and that wraps it up, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to download the game via the link in the description or the pinned comment or the QR code on the screen if you're at a PC. It's available on Android and iOS. Get a special starter pack worth $20 using my link that includes a summoning crystal, 100,000 gold, and 100 diamonds. Also, the first 30 players who leave their in-game ID and username in the comments section below will receive a free legendary female succubus champion, the Luxuriant, one of the best mages to carry you in the game. Alright guys, that wraps it up for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.